It appears that the Big 12 has got a college football playoff problem. We're talking about it on the Big 12 squad.
You're talking ball with the Big 12 squad. From Oklahoma State to Utah, from Kansas State to BYU, from Houston to Texas Tech, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big 12 weekend. Buckle up. It's the Big 12 squad, and we have a seat for you. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up. You're part of the Big 12 squad.
Welcome into the Big 12 squad, everybody. I'm Locked On Cougars host Jake Hatch, filling in for Drake Toll. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend that hosts Locked On Big 12. Right across from me digitally is Chris Level, host of Locked On Texas Tech. Next to him is Cody Stovall, who Locked On Oklahoma State. They have got a new coach. We'll talk about Eric Morris here in a little bit. Below me, Mountaineer Paul from Locked On West Virginia. Next to him, Kevin Borba, Locked On Buffs, and then some guy named JT who hosts a show that I'd rather not talk about. But that's Locked On Youth. So hope everybody's doing fantastic on this holiday weekend. A happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And guys, let's kick it off right now by reminding everybody, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review these shows. As Drake likes to say, help us keep our jobs by doing that very thing. But do we have a college football crisis, college football playoff crisis unfolding for the Big 12? Because sure looks like they are teeing it up to deny both BYU and Utah any chance of getting into the field.
Yes, and Chris Level needs to tell his people to take one for the team because Texas Tech's getting in no matter what happens. So best case scenario is they get upset in the Big 12 title game. Then we get two teams in. Then Tech can go all the way to the Natty, baby. Chris, I thought this thing out, buddy.
I'll say from a Utah standpoint really quick, since, we still won and they dropped us. I'm frustrated, but I understand it because we didn't look impressive defensively against Kansas State. They have a much better win than us, but at the same time, their losses are so bad. That's where it is tough. It's irritating, but they're also played teams closer than we obviously did at Tech. So 2 lost teams, thin margins. I get why they did it, but it is annoying that you still win and drop.
JT, I think you guys would beat Notre Dame pretty convincingly for whatever that's worth. And I also think that Utah would give Alabama everything that they could handle.
I mean, I think we're good. I don't know if we beat them. Really Notre Dame? They just won by what they just win by this weekend?
And Notre Dame's really good.
So, hi Parker, how are you doing, sir?
We just lost a basketball game, and I had to talk about it for 30 minutes. So I'd like to talk about anything else right now. Can I add though? I also think Utah beat Notre Dame, and I guess I'm not. Really? I don't think a whole lot about Syracuse though, and frankly, I think what's fascinating to me is Utah didn't just get jumped by anyone; they got jumped by Miami, who has the head-to-head with Notre Dame. Right? If that jump continues, at what point are they in the same tier where we're going to compare that head to head and make that come in?
I would say you guys are all crazy because Utah is not the same team as it was prior to Saturday because of the Daly injury. He's one of the best defensive players in the Big 12.
Yeah, and he's.
I hate injuries factoring into this, but he is a monster, relentless pass rushing monster, first team all Big 12 guy. You don't have him for the rest of the year. That I don't care what team we're talking about. That changes who you are big time.
Okay, so let me tee this up for whoever wants to take it. But we're seeing, and every article I've read coming out from ESPN, who essentially is the mouthpiece of the College Football Playoff Committee, says that the one loss that BYU has on the record is being held against them more than their 10 wins to date. What are we supposed to make of this? And Chris, I guess in the case of you, because BYU did lose to Texas Tech and looks like they're on a head-on collision for a rematch in Arlington. But what are we to make of that? That one loss can outdo 10 wins and what BYU's accomplished?
The BYU's problem is, and I think Texas Tech has a similar problem, is that Stanford and East Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I think for Texas Tech, it was Oregon State. There's just nothing to lean on in the non-conference. And then it's kind of who you get matched up with. They don't get a lot of credit for beating Arizona State like they did. Well, that was Utah, because I've even seen, because Utah hammered Arizona State, but they didn't have Leavitt in that game. And so there's some of that. It's you just spin the wheel and pick the argument. I don't.
It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating. And that's why, Jake and your people know this, but they absolutely have a chance to make it into this thing, period. All you have to do is win.
Yeah,
but the end.
But to quote the great Skip Bayless song.
I hate that guy.
all
Can
I
I
do is
mention one
win.
thing though? I also think this is completely refuting, and not just because he's not here. At the start of the year, Drake was saying we should all schedule a bunch of nobodies because the goal was to go 11-0,
Well-
12-0, and clearly this is kind of pointing out like actually that you'd rather be Alabama with a loss to Florida State apparently because even though Florida State sucks, they were a Power 4 team that you lost to, and that's apparently the way to go because
It also
that loss
matters
doesn't count
when-
for anything anymore.
It also matters when you lose. To your point, Parker.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing about this is Florida State. Remember when they won, everyone's like, "Oh, Florida State's back. They're going to bounce back this season." Yeah, not so much. They're 5-6.
No, but Drake, and I'm not picking on him because he's not here.
Yeah.
If he were here, I'd do the same thing. He was pushing all of us to play a bunch of patsies in the non-conference because he thought the path was go 11-0, go, and it's like
That's what we were
actually-
told, though. West Virginia's played 2 non-conference teams every single year up until this year. We just changed it because they told us to.
I mean,
Yeah,
look
that's-
at the
that's
look at the
exactly what
Notre
happened.
Dame look at the Notre Dame Miami game.
That's what I'm frustrated about.
don't
Is
care
like
who
we
won
were
that one.
doing that because that's what the old, that's what it used to be. The thing you had to have a tough non-conference schedule, and then everybody started like, especially the SEC, were scheduling cream puffs in the non-con, and they were getting their way. But now that they're not, and there's more parity in college football, and people are catching up. Like
The harsh
teams-
reality is, and this is for the most part going to continue to be a 1 to 1.5 bid league.
Well,
You
and
know,
the hard
I
part
mean-
to build off of Chris's point too is like not everybody gets the same rules or benefit of the doubt. Like
You're
a one
right.
loss or 2 loss SEC team, it's like, okay, well, they went through the gauntlet of whatever this many teams. Like Oklahoma is a solid team, but their resume looks really good because they've beaten 3 ranked
They're-
teams. Like even if
I
they're
would
Like,
point out-
and Texas Tech is getting a lot of credit right now in the rankings, and it's because of the way that they've done it. I think they have 10 wins over 20 points or more. Their margin of victory is 30 points, and if not for that, you may be seeing a 10-1 team that was in the 10 range as opposed to the 5 range. But I think they're getting credit for how they've done it, and so
Correct.
yeah, there's layers to this stuff.
To add to your point, BYU it has the most wins over teams with 7+ wins. Most wins over teams. They've got more wins in terms of legit bowl teams. We're talking 7+ win victories. But to your point, the way BYU has done it is a lot of grinded out, come from behind victories versus being a wagon that Texas Tech appears to be.
You mentioned
Yeah,
I think
and-
Oklahoma has 3 ranked wins. They're the back half of it, but Houston's got 2. Like the way this thing works out, it's not just a ranked win anymore, though. It's more about the brand. It's more about
that's-
which ranked win was it, and I think
like
that's
Texas too is like if they beat Texas A&M, there's going to be such a case for them to get in despite 3 losses because you already know what's going to happen. It's like, well, they beat number 4 and then they beat whoever else. Like that's going to happen. So
or if Michigan beats Ohio State, like
Right.
honestly, like same kind of thing.
Hey, I've got some pencil neck like distance runner Texas A&M fan who's been in my mentions all week on Twitter, just barking at me about the Big 12 and the SEC. I will accept Texas beating A&M so I can just shut him up. I'll
Wow.
Hey,
Pencil neck. I
appreciate-
didn't have that on the docket.
I know.
Pencil
I
neck.
appreciate the term pencil neck. It hasn't been.
Yes.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum,
I'm
and
just
I'm
saying.
all out of bubble gum. Right?
go
Yeah.
look at this kid's bio. He's a distance runner, and I swear he's never played a down of football in his life.
You've given him way more like time on this show that he already deserved. By the
I know. Anyways, but the
You
point
studied his neck.
but
The
Kevin,
study of his neck. Yeah.
Kevin, the SEC bias that exists will absolutely prop up Texas in that circumstance. All right, coming up next, though, we have at least one new head coach we already know is going to be involved in this league next year, and he may be the ultimate quarterback whisperer. We'll get to that next. The Big 12 squad rolls on right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks, literally anything in between. Plus, you can combine those live bets into same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout along the way. Keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. And even if the NBA is not your thing, college football, NFL, college hoop, they've got it all for you guys, courtesy of our friends at FanDuel. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up today and play your game with FanDuel. They are the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you once again for being here on the Locked On Big 12 squad. All right, everybody. Cody Stovall, you're taking center stage here as we have a new head coach coming to the Big 12 next year, and he's a familiar name to some, mainly Texas Tech fans and the like. But Eric Morris, 40 years old, taking over in Stillwater.
He's a man. He's 40. We've already got that established and out of the way. Yeah, this is very exciting, especially when, schools like LSU and Penn State and UCLA are still searching. Arkansas, right? There's a lot of jobs out there that you would think would stack above Oklahoma State. For us to get a hire of this caliber this early, I think it does accentuate the fact that Oklahoma State has more to offer than some of the national punditry might want to pretend. Yet we've always been good at, acquiring offensive talent. So having an offensive innovation kind of mind is a big deal. Coming from that Mike Leach tree is also a very, very big deal. And I also think from a coordinator perspective, they have some things going for them, but he likely is to bring Drew Messmaker with him. That's worth a weight its gold in and of itself. Defensive line coach Greg Richmond is a Cowboy that could potentially come back home. And you mentioned the quarterback thing, right? This is not only the dude who was able to unearth Baker Mayfield. He was also the only coach in the room telling everybody that they need to give Baker Mayfield a scholarship. Then he recruits Cam Ward. Then
Who told you that?
Then he recruits Messmaker. This is an absolute savant at the quarterback position. And thankfully, things are cruising so well in Lubbock, we don't have to worry about him getting poached from us anytime soon. Right? Let's call a spade. If Colin Klein got the job, we'd all be waiting on the day that he was to leave us for Kansas State.
Right.
I think that conversation about Eric Morris at least provides you a little bit more time because they have things rocking and rolling at Lubbock, and that is yet another reason I'm excited about this. The regionality when it comes to recruiting, the fact that he has a lot of underclassmen that are the best players on the North Texas squad. There's tons of things to be excited about, but maybe more so than all else is the fact that we have a coach before some of the LSUs and Penn States of the world.
Okay, so let me bring this point up. I think it's Darian Gray that pointed it out to us this week that Sonny Dykes was talking about the fact that this is a league. I think this is the deepest in terms of quarterback talent top to bottom. And Cody, I think you'd admit this as well as all of us. Oklahoma State seems to be the one program who seems to be sans at quarterback right now. And Eric Morris figures to be the guy that will bring Mestamaker or somebody in that will bolster this conference. I think it's, I guess I'll involve everybody else here. Your guys' thoughts on Oklahoma State bringing a guy who knows quarterback play at a high level?
You said Sands at quarterback. They said their backup was better than Dampier was at one point. Was that?
Yeah.
So
see, now Utah's going to have a chance to go get Haas Haney. You're welcome.
Utah's backup may be better than their starter in some people's minds.
So I will say this is a home run of a hire for them and the conference. This guy is frankly frightening. So he was. Not to be the Houston. He was at Houston when Holgorsen was the OC back in the Case Keenum days. He was at Tech under Leach and Kingsbury, I think actually, right, Chris? He was at Washington State was where he had the Leach connection. He played for Leach. Like this guy understands like scoring. My one hesitation is that like on a sample size thing, he's got the 1 year at Incarnate Word. And we know that was a Cam Ward year where he won 10 games. And then he's got this year at 10 games. It's like, okay, like is 2 seasons in separation from 2 separate places. Like he's young. It could all be signs pointed upwards. It's just a very small sample thus far.
Chris Level. As he freezes.
No, I didn't freeze. Tell
us about the red waiter wide receiver, buddy.
Yeah, I've known the Angry Elf for about 20 years, at least. This is a guy with a chip on his shoulder. He demanded to have a spot on Mike's team back in the day, would show up to the facility and you're going to take me. This is my dream. And he's just, he played here 4 years and he coached here. It is. I do find it. I get some humor out of how many people have taken credit for Patrick Mahomes over the years, for Baker Mayfield over the years. I think Cam Ward. That there's a lot of John Mateer. John Mateer is also Eric has got some rub there. But what Eric does, he gets more out of less, and he develops. he's from Shallow Texas, which is about 20 minutes from where I'm talking to you from right now. And I know his dad well, and his dad will tell you that the North Texas era has been very rewarding yet frustrating because he just gets poached every year. And yet they still have – I mean, Messamaker didn't even start for his high school team, guys.
Correct.
He hadn't started since 9th grade, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I mean, and so like that's what I
development.
If you can figure out that position and nothing else, you're gonna win more than you lose. You're gonna win more than you lose. You may not win big, you may not win like everybody wants necessarily, and I think he's proven that he's been pretty consistent. But great dude. But he's just and like he's buddies with when Texas Tech won at Kansas State several weeks ago. Eric Morris, he FaceTimed I think Joey when Joey was on the plane. We were flying home, and they're talking about stories. So this league is becoming quite incestual.
God.
Like I'll even tie this into my man Mountaineer Paul because
right after incestual.
That's right. That's right.
West Virginia didn't need any more of
I
that.
thought we were done talking about the SEC. But
because Texas Tech is headed to Morgantown this weekend, who is coached by Rich Rodriguez in his second stint there, right?
Damn
do you
right.
know who the finalist was when Tech hired Mike Leach? It was Rich Rodriguez and Mike Leach. Those were the two guys. They had them both in here for interviews, and Texas Tech chose Mike Leach because they thought Rich Rodriguez would ultimately want to be the head coach at Clemson if that job ever came open, because that's where he was the OC. But like Sonny Dykes spent 10 years in Lubbock as an OC.
Rich Rod and Texas Tech would have been interesting.
Yeah, well, because they wanted somebody that lit up the scoreboard, and obviously Rich Rodriguez has proven to be able to do that. But it's just wild how there's so many connections and all these things with some of this stuff, and so much of it revolves around Mike. But I will say this: Oklahoma State did very well for themselves here. I don't know how quickly it will get turned around. But they did very well for themselves here. They hired a good man, a good family guy. He's young, and in time that they may be challenged to try to, keep a hold of him. But Chad Weiberg, who just hired him, also spent a lot of time in Lubbock, Texas, under Kirby Hocutt.
I did a lot of research on this guy right after the hire because I have another show I was going to talk about him on. He's done a lot of work there at Texas Tech, man, or North Texas. 77 players they brought in. I was reading about there, Cody, which is the most roster turnover in the country, right along there with West Virginia. In the day and age where
roster turnover in Colorado,
in a day and age where that's probably one of the most valuable things that you can do is understand how to turn a lot of players into a decent football team, even though it's at the group of 5 level, still pretty impressive in my opinion. And then you just look at some of the categories: top 5 passing offense, top 10 offense nationally, top 25 scoring offense, led the country in total offense. And then you guys talked about all the coaching and development that he brings to the table. Obviously, on the surface, it looks like a home run, so get a good defensive coordinator and you guys are cooking.
I think the best thing, too, about this hire is the timing. They're way out in front of everybody here.
Right.
And obviously North Texas is still it's my understanding that he's going to finish it out, whatever that looks like, because that could involve a final regular season game, a conference championship game, potential bid in the playoffs if they were to potentially beat Tulane, maybe is the way it kind of points. So, but I think the timing, because they were kind of out in front of everybody here before everybody else made a hire.
What a concept for a coach to actually finish the job he started, not just leave for the biggest job. Crazy.
I got 2 things on the timing, actually. One, I love that they just come and said, hey, I don't care if the season isn't over yet. This is what we're doing, and we're going to tell everyone about it. Like, they could have kept this under wraps for 48 hours or whatever they want. And no, tell your kids, tell everyone, we're doing this. Yeah. Second, did y'all see that the University of North Texas put out?
Oh, I saw it.
Pause, breathe. If you're feeling overwhelmed, UNT has mental health support.
Yeah.
Less than 20 minutes before the announcement.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, look, sports is real like that, man.
Timing is crazy.
I visited Denton for the East West Shrine Bowl. There's not a lot out there. So if football is their biggest passion, they may need some consultation.
Oh, Mean Green.
Producing Big 12 basketball coaches, apparently.
North Texas head coach at the time Ross Hodge said that he was coming to West Virginia before he finished the NIT, and so the same situation played out, except in basketball for us with Ross Hodge as with you guys with Eric Morris. Announced it, still finished it out, got to the championship game and everything. So kind of weird how that it's like North Texas is very open with their coaches. Like,
and he's not on this show. He's not on this show, but I will tell you that had Baylor decided to make a move with Dave Aranda, I think that Jared Mosley, the athletic director at North Texas, and Eric Morris in Waco could have been a package deal.
Ooh, okay, Waco. All right. Well, look at Chris Level bringing the insider along the way. All right.
I love you, Dave Aranda.
Crazy.
Coming up next, I got a couple of different things we want to riff on in the final stanza of today's show. We'll get to that next as the Big 12 squad rolls on. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. College football is back, and obviously we couldn't be more excited. Tailgates, rivalries, the energy in the stands, nothing like it. But let's get real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I want you guys to do what I do and use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. You can pull up the Game Time app in a couple of taps, see amazing deals. You can get tickets to your favorite college football games for as low as $25. App makes it super simple. You can even see the exact view from your seat before you buy those tickets. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way that I bought tickets myself. And doesn't even pertain just to college football tickets, concert, theater, music, whatever you're into. They got the tickets for you guys. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets and do it with our friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's the promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. That's Locked On College for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Big 12 squad and all of our individual shows your first listen of the day and or view, I should say, if you're watching this on YouTube. But hope everybody's doing well out there on this Thanksgiving holiday. So, gentlemen, I want to start everybody off. We're going to go around the round table. What's everybody thankful for this time of year?
Dave Aranda.
Oil.
oil money.
Oil money.
Yeah, I like that.
Cody Campbell.
Chris was thankful for Cody Campbell. And is it Double Eagle or whatever they call that, by the way?
Yes.
By the way, Cody actually came on my radio show here in Salt Lake City and could not have been a better guest. I'm telling you, Chris, speaking just from the Utah BYU perspective side of things, you got an incredible human being running things down there in Lubbock.
Yeah, he's I think he really likes the BYU Utah editions, and he's been to both places and was obviously in Salt Lake City with us earlier this year. But he's good people, and again he's trying to help. Yes, he's trying to help Texas Tech, but he's trying to help keep the Big 12 relevant, and like he's for the non-blue blood, right? And that's really where. But I think a lot of people are frustrated with him trying to voice his opinion, whether it be politically or NCAA wise or whatever. But he's trying to, make it fair for the schools like that are in the Big 12 that are in the like the CFP conversation we were talking about earlier and about the logos and all that stuff. There's a lot more money to be had, he feels like, out there. But I appreciate you saying that.
All right, JT, what are you thankful for? Come on, I'm sure you got something I can rip you for.
I got to be honest. I'm just going to go straight one. Kyle Whittingham. I mean, this might be his final ever regular season game. So huge shout out to what Kyle Whittingham's accomplished for Utah, somehow finding a way for Utah to get that win. They released a little clip from what his speech in the locker room too at halftime for Kansas State. He still got it a little bit. So thankful for all that Kyle Whittingham has contributed for Utah and for all of my Locked On Big 12 co-hosts on. These are always fun doing these with you guys.
He had to find something. They gave up 472 rushing yards, dude.
So bad. We were on pace to give up 800 at half.
Yeah, I'm just saying that whatever they found, that was magic. I'll just say
that was the K-State team we thought was going to be this year.
Correct. Yeah, that was kind of the
except it was Dylan Edwards that we thought was going to be running around everywhere, not Shoeless Joe.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Jake, what's yours?
Well, first off, I'm thankful for all y'all. And here's the thing. I know that Cincinnati is back in the headlines for a derogatory chant that Borb is well aware of with the whole F the Mormons thing that happened earlier this year in Boulder.
I was like, what did I do? Crazy segue.
The genuine shock on his face.
Yeah, I know. He's like, whoa, hold on. But here's the thing about BYU obviously is front and center with what they're accomplishing right now. 10-1, back-to-back double-digit win seasons. We'll see if they get in the playoff. I'm hopeful that the playoff committee will see reason and put the Cougars in. That's beside the point here. But with this being back in the headlines and whatnot, it just BYU, I think, has handled things the right way, despite, once again, a fairly derogatory chant being directed at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But it seems like the Big 12, and I'm speaking from my vantage point, I've had Big 12 fans from every team, it feels like, reach out this week and express essentially their disdain for what happened at Cincinnati, but also supporting BYU at the same time. So I guess in some turnabout way, a pretty horrific situation, quite honestly, has turned into a very positive kind of thing, like coalescing the Big 12 around it.
Yeah, it feels that way. It's been cool to see this conference rally together around something, because it is crazy. We keep doing this week after week. They have to do something to put a stop to it.
Yeah, they, before the Texas Tech game, Grant McCaslin got on the mic and talked to the students. And then there was some messaging on the video board. There wasn't anything being said. It was preemptive.
Yeah.
And it was, hey, cheer for you. Don't make it about anything else and all that stuff. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, and that's the crazy thing is about sports, the reason we love it so much, it makes people feel emotions and makes people say things, act certain ways that they would never act like or say in any other walk of life. And it's kind of what we love about it, right? It makes us all, but this is some of the negative that comes out of it, and that's very unfortunate.
The emotions elicited are in many ways good for business on our end. Let's be very blunt about that. Like the emotions that this sport and these sports can.
Oh, the passion. Yes.
That's good for business for us because it causes.
Not the chant. That's not what. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it can turn very negative, like it did at Cincinnati following the Colorado incident, etc. But like I said, I've been appreciative that I've had fans, I feel like, from almost every Big 12 program out there reach out and say, hey, we got BYU's back on this.
Because I think what you're seeing with this league, honestly, is that this is a weird word that I never thought I'd use, but it's very collegial.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, same as here. We're in this fight together, and you're trying to beat each other at different sports, but I do think that the fan base is large in part take up for each other in some ways, or empathize or sympathize, whatever you want to say. But I don't disagree with your point there, Jake, at all.
I would say on the same kind of note, it was a couple weeks ago, but there was the Texas Tech's barber's wife situation where she had a bad accident and needs some help. And I saw a lot of Big 12 fan bases come out, and BYU, to your credit, Jake, came out in full force. And
the food pantry thing
the food pantry
in Cincinnati. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like on the whole, the conference is very much supportive.
Well, that's mainly BYU.
But BYU may have brought that as someone who got the conference when BYU got there. I don't know the conference the other way, right? That may be this kind of we're all in this together kind of action. As much as I want to say something silly about like I'm thankful for Kelvin Sampson or whatever. I think that is a cool aspect to get to cover this conference.
You should be thankful for Kelvin Sampson.
No doubt.
I'd love one in Utah. Yes. I would love one up on the Huntsman. The Utah Utes would love a Kelvin Sampson right now.
We 100% Houston would not be in the conference and on the. I wouldn't have this show if Sampson had never. You wouldn't be serious about thankful for Kelvin Sampson.
I can wholeheartedly tell you, when BYU joined the conference, I thought that we would never experience this again, because the Big 12 I always viewed as a conference that didn't dive into this stuff. So it is disappointing to have multiple fan bases within the conference doing this to a university in your conference. I don't get it. And you think eventually the word would get around. All it does is make your fan base look absolutely ridiculous.
Just turn around and say anything else.
Yeah, there's a common theme there, though.
It's
because BYU's winning.
Yeah.
In both instances, right. it's like the fan base is two of clubs. You ever played spades before?
Yes, absolutely.
Two of any suit is the worst card you're gonna have, right? And it's like, okay, I'm getting beat. There's nothing else I can say, so I'm just gonna try to take a shot. I mean, this is sports, man. This is what it brings out the best and worst in people, unfortunately.
All right. So before we wrap up, we're going to wrap it up. I think MP and Borb are the only ones that have not given us what they're thankful for on this, week of Thanksgiving. So what do you boys got before we go here?
I'll go first. I mean, personal life, we're getting some silverware and stuff from the shower,
Yes.
right? We just had a wedding shower, so I'm no longer using paper plates and plastic forks, so that's exciting. I'm thankful for the 1 year last year that Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders gave us, because what a high moment that was. Don't know if we'll ever replicate that again, and I don't know if the coaches know how to replicate that again, but it was a fun year.
All right, MP, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it pretty brief, but as you guys know, I'm very open about my life, and probably too much so at times. But to be living the life I'm living now was nothing but a dream, nothing but a freaking dream. 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So for me, I remain grateful every single day that I get to talk into this mic about sports. It's something I value, and I'm very grateful for. I'm grateful for you guys. And obviously, can't be more grateful for West Virginia, in the state of West Virginia.
And
so
Mountain
I'm
Dew.
proud to be from there. Mountain Dew, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving, no matter where you're tuning in from. Thank you for supporting all of our shows. Honestly, we couldn't do it without any of you out there speaking just generally across the Big 12. And have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Enjoy the 3 F's, as I like to say: faith, football, and family. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Food is one. Food's an F.
Food. Okay, yeah, four F's. There we go. But we will have plenty more on our individual shows. Make sure you check out the Locked On Big 12 Squad every week, as Drake likes to say, right here on the Dose Grande Squad.